Yeah, Kutaya. We can do one. Why you could take that's so it's supposed to be. Papa Boko Budon Techuria. Ego there. What's up, family and friends? Welcome to the Woke Nation, our nation of factual truth, where we feel free to share knowledge and spread the knowledge of factual truth without fear, without favor, and without faith. Where we encourage us to live our life and live it well through the knowledge of factual truth. And I also encourage us to live our life, live it well, going after knowledge. As a human being, you don't need spirituality, you don't need religion, you don't need mythology, you don't need theology, you don't need morality. All you need is knowledge. That's what humanity needs. So humanity is what we must go after. And for us to live humanly, we need knowledge. Knowledge of factual truth, not knowledge of political truth, not knowledge of religious truth, not knowledge of spiritual truth, but the knowledge of factual truth. That's only way we can live humanly. So I'm sharing with us what I hinted on yesterday, and I titled this Challenges or Challenge in God's Presence. Challenges in God's Presence. So I want to expose certain things, exposing the hidden truth through Bible study. So welcome to Bible study. Of course, I have the knowledge of the Bible. I study it back to back more than 10 times as a minister of God, as a minister of Christ, as a minister of God in Christ Jesus under Pentecostal or Pentecostalism. So When you go to Numbers chapter 16, that's the where I want us to study today. So I will run us through it. So I encourage you to bear with me, open that Bible app, and let us read together, because the believers or the Christians, they will accuse you of taking their Bible out of context why they haven't even read it. And when you read it, they say you are reading it in your own way, or you are reading it with a carnal mind. So you are not reading it as it's supposed to. You have to be in the spirit to read what is written on a paper with ink. There's a spirit in it. That's what they will always say. So I will read the whole thing one to end, and as I go on, I will be elaborating them. Now, Korah, the son of Esau, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, with Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Pelet, sons of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moses with some of the children of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, representatives of the congregation, men of renown. You Christians, who are the representative of the congregations in your assembly, in your gathering today, think about it. I think they don't have representatives anymore. It is, you know, uh, the one man with his gang, like the pastors and their gangs, running the whole thing, and they don't care. They don't, although they say they copy it from the Bible, what they're doing, but when you read the Bible, especially the New Testament, you find out they are not like that church in the New Testament. Although that church is a fictional church, it never existed in reality. Verse 3. They gathered together against Moses and Aaron. They gathered together against Moses and Aaron and said to them, think about it, when you're saying about the representatives of the congregation, that's the whole congregation, gathered together against Moses and Aaron, who happened to be the leadership. And I want you to know that the Bible was written to make you believe that people who are in authority represent God. So being against them or rising up against them is rising up against God. Like when you read Romans chapter 13, it tells you there that those are appointed, they are ministers of God, those in authority. So you should pay taxes, you should give them their dues, you should do whatever they do. They don't bear their sword in vain. Their sword is for people who are disobedient or for people who are not good citizens. That's what it says there in Romans chapter 13. So that's why you see they use religion to make people not revolt against evil rulers, evil leaders, evil kings, those who are uh, uh, promoting injustice in the land. So you see people now, because they have that fear of God, that if I touch these people, I am touching God. Touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. That's what they say. That's what they will always quote to protect their leaders. So they cannot revolt against those leaders who is making life miserable for people, who are not fighting for the people, who are not serving the people, but serving their own belly, serving their own interests, serving their own family, serving their own friends, serving their own colleagues, but not the people who they said elected them in, appointed them in the first place to serve them. So they gathered together against Moses and Aaron and said to them, you take too much upon yourselves, for all the congregation is holy. All the congregation is holy. That's how it's supposed to be. Not one person holier than the rest. All congregations of God are supposed to be holy. So when you hear that, if you know New Testament very well, you will see Matthew 23, 8 to 12. Jesus said there in the Bible that you should have no teacher among you because all of you are brothers. You should, all of you are servants or followers of the same master. So there's nobody should be your master in your gatherings. Then also he said that nobody, you should call nobody your father, your spiritual father, because all of you are brethren, you are brothers and sisters, or your brothers before they put brothers and sisters, but originally it was brothers. Then and you have one father who is in heaven. So you should not have no teacher among you, no master among you, because one is your master, one is your teacher, the Christ. So in your gathering today, especially in Christianity, in your church, when you gather, why is it not Jesus Christ teaching all of you, but one person teaching? Oh yeah, Paul was teaching in the Bible. Paul was not among the 12 apostles of Christ. You get that? Paul was added later to try to change the lies. They lie with Jesus. That's the purpose of the epistles of Paul, because the four gospels show a lot of lies. So they form another lie called the epistles to, maybe paint it the way it will seem to be true, but it's not. So when you see people who are ministers of God, they are people that exalted themselves, claiming that God called them, claiming that God chose them to be the leader of the people, to be the teacher of the people, teaching them the ways of God or things of God. Why can't God do that? The God that need human being to teach people, that God is non-existent and useless. That God deserves not your fear. You don't need to fear that God, the God that cannot teach you himself. And if God can teach you, you don't need any human being to tell you anything about God. If God made you and that God exists, you don't need any human being to tell you about that God, to teach you anything of that God. It is that simple. Okay, so let's go on. He said that they said to Aaron and Moses, you took upon yourself, for all the congregation is holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Why then do you exalt yourselves above the assembly of God? Now, these people agree with Jesus. No one should exalt themselves over the people that gather to worship God. There should be no pope among them. There should be no pastor among them. There should be no apostle among them. There should be no prophet among them. There should be no teacher among them. There should be no any spiritual father, spiritual leader, teacher, or spiritual leader among them, because God is supposed to lead them. When you're talking about God leading his people, when the people of Israel or the elders of Israel went to Samuel and demanded for a king, God got upset, according to them, saying that he is the one they rejected. So if you have anyone as your spiritual leader, spiritual father, and all of you are worshiping God, you have rejected that God. You said he is omnipotent, he is almighty. If God cannot lead all of you directly, if God cannot teach all of you directly, that God does not exist. If that God exists, he will be able to do those things. But as you can see, their God can. Verse 4. So when Moses had it, he fell on his face. On his face. When I was reading this place about Moses, I think they said that Moses was the meekest man on the earth, right? But this place will show you is a lie. That's another Bible contradiction. If I'm still right, I think it was Moses, right? Say Moses was meek. I think we have a smartphone, so I can search it now. Let's see. See. Let me use Bible Hub and see. Meek, meek, meek like Moses. Meek like Moses. Like Moses. No, it's not there. Let me see. Meek, 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 meek. Where is it? No, not here. Let me search again. Moses was meek. Nah, 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 nah. Yeah, okay, here, see? Numbers chapter 12, verse 3. Okay, hear what he say. He say, so with King James Version, because other versions, King James Version, English Standard Version, they use the right word. Other versions start changing it into something. Say that now the man Moses was very meek. Remember, this is chapter 12 of Numbers. He said that Moses was very meek, more than all people who were on the face of the earth. That's in the whole world. Moses was very humble, very meek. Okay, so other Obanzongu here, he said meek is full of meek. You know, lonely. I am meek and lonely. That's why Jesus said he's meek and lonely. But Moses was that before Jesus came. So now this Moses that was very meek, more than every other person in the world. Let us see how he handled this situation of certain people rising up against him and accusing him of the job he's doing. So when Moses had it, he fell on his face, not asking for forgiveness, not saying, "Oh God, have mercy on them." No. And he spoke to Korah and all his company, saying, "Tomorrow," I like this part, "tomorrow morning, the Lord will show who is his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near to him. That one whom he chooses, he will cause to come near to him." Who is who in God's presence? That's another challenge. I think that's the first challenge on this place. So Moses said, tomorrow morning, not tomorrow, not just say tomorrow, the Lord, no, tomorrow morning. He was specific. And that's what all the servants of God supposed to be doing. When they said this thing will happen, they're supposed to be specific. This is when it will happen. Tomorrow morning, or tomorrow evening, or tomorrow afternoon, or, or in July, or you see, so they're supposed to be specific. And when they say like July or June, they're supposed to give you the date when it will actually happen. If they don't give you date, it's because they are imposters. If their God is connected to them, their God supposed to tell them the specific time, date when that thing will happen. By this time next year, blah 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 blah. There is nothing new that is going to happen. Everything that will happen next year happened last year, and is gonna happen this year. And already some of them happening. So in God's presence, that challenge, who is who, God will come and show who is who. How I wish they can start that challenge again today in the gathering of God's people. Let us know who is God's anointed. You go inside the village or inside the city or inside the street or on the street and bring a beggar who was born blind, a beggar who is crippled. You bring them in your church and say, today, let us know if this man is really called by God, if God's anointing is upon him to heal the sick, to raise the dead, to cleanse the lepers, to heal the cripple, to open the blind eyes. Let us prove it today in God's presence. Where are those challenges today? Moses said, tomorrow morning we will know who is who God has chosen, who is holy. God will cause that person to come near to him. God will prove that person. Can you Christians, can you Muslims, can you Jews who believe that God is real and call certain people, why can't you challenge them? But they already tell you they cover up, they lie. I'm not the one that will decide what God will decide when it will happen. I cannot tempt God. No, God said tempt him. God said tempt him. Tempting God is not a button. Everyone that in your Bible or in their book that they say God will use, they tempted God first. They tested God first. Gideon tested God. Jephthah, come on, what is his name again? The one that sacrificed his daughter. Jephthah tested God. They tested God to prove, okay, you are the one sending me, so they can stand bold. Even when God called Moses, he forced Moses to test him. He told Moses, put your hand in your garment, bring it up. It turned to white. So Moses was black. When he put his hand in it turned white. He said, okay, you send me. He said, okay, throw your staff on the floor. He throw it, it becomes serpent. He said, take it by the tail again. You take it, it becomes staff. That's challenges in God's presence. If the presence of God is in your gatherings, where is the challenges? There should be challenges to prove who is who. Before Moses convinced, according to the story of the Bible, convinced the people of Israel in Egypt that God sent him, he displayed those challenges that God showed him before them. And they saw it, they said, okay, let us go with you. So you believers that have been convinced there is God, why are you believing people that say that God called them, that God chose them, just because they say so? Why can't you challenge them? Why are you falling for their made up lies, for their staged miracles, signs and wonders? You see them saying that their God paid money into someone's account. Why not you also say, okay, this is me here. Nobody in this church know my bank account. They don't know any of my bank information. Let God, if God really call you, let that God send so amount of money into my account, and I will never leave this God until I die. They will not even do that because they already sowed that seed in them growing up that you dare not tempt God. You dare not question God. Don't throw such challenge. Touch not God's anointed. Shut up. Don't talk. Especially if you're a woman, zip it. If you want to learn, go to your house. Learn from your husband. So even single ladies, they are in the background. Tomorrow morning, the Lord will show who is his. That's what Moses said. Tomorrow morning, the Lord will show who is his. Today is Tuesday, right? Tomorrow, Wednesday, all you Pentecostals, we have midweek service. We say tomorrow, during the midweek service, the Lord will show up. I will show who is who. It's not happening, but it's in your book. You ignore that part. I'm following your religious doctrine, following your religious dogmas, following your religious routine, following your religious activities, and expecting everyone to swallow it as authentic. No, it is fake. Faith is fake. Faith is blind. Hope is blind. Love is blind. And they makes you humble slave, happy slave. You become obedient, not prudent. You believe without seeing, and you don't care to see. You say you will die in it. You don't care. And you want me to care? Fuck you. Verse 6. Do this. Moses is still speaking to them. Take censers, Korah, and all your company. Put fire in them and put incense in them before the Lord. God's presence. Tomorrow, and it shall be that the man whom the Lord chooses is the Holy One. You take too much upon yourself, you sons of Levi. Moses said to Korah, hear now, you sons of Levi, is it a small thing to you that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to him, to do the work of the tabernacles of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to serve them? Not to serve God, to serve the people. So the Levites serve the people, while the priests serve God. Get it? But I will still explain that. And that he has brought you near to him, you and all your brethren, the sons of Levi with you. And are you seeking the priesthood also? You were separated to serve the people. Are you not seeking to serve the Lord? You have they taught you this in your Bible study in your church? No. What I'm teaching you is supposed to be giving me your tithes and your offerings, but you're not giving it to me, and you think I'm like your pastors. Sometimes you come asking me stupid questions as if you're giving me your tithes and offering. Why you are not asking those pastors that are collecting your tithes and offering such questions? Question them the way you are questioning me. You see how they will kick you out of that church. The same way I will unfriend you. God gave you living. How do they put it? Levitical. And I don't want to put priesthood there. Levites, you know, Leviticus is their book. No, Levites. God made you Levi. Okay, Levi. We used to call it. They say that Jesus, Aaron was at the order of Levitical priesthood, right? Okay. So because it's also from the Levi that the priesthood was chosen. But the sons of Levi, they are not the sons of Aaron. Aaron and his sons were anointed to wear the apron, to enter the Holy of Holies. The other Levites cannot enter there. They serve in the tabernacle where the people are. Serving the people are collecting whatever they come with to serve the Lord and all that. Then they will take the portion that belongs to God and they take it into the storeroom or storehouse, where the priest will go to make the bread for the presence of God when they enter the Holy of Holies and, all their order. So the sons of Levi now were against the sons of Aaron, the priesthood. Okay, and the priesthood happened to be Aaron ordained them, right? I mean, Moses ordained them. So Moses represents God. Okay, so sons of Levi, you're supposed to know that God chose them to replace all the firstborn in Israel. So when you're talking about the firstborn in Israel, supposed to be dedicated to God, but God said He has chosen the Levites to represent those first sons. So like me, I'm a first son. The Levites has taken my place before God. Instead of me going to temple to work now, the Levites are there working, for me. And they are the one that collects tithes, not pastors, not apostles, not prophets, not teachers, not priests. Priests don't collect tithes. It is the work of the Levites to collect tithes. Then they give the tithe of tithes to the priests. Many of you don't know it. But they have lied to you because they tell you all things shall pass away except tithe. All things shall pass away except building temple. All things shall pass away except gathering in a special place and worshiping God. So the sons of Levi were workers, like how you have church workers. People, they are workers, they are there like ushers, other things, but they are not ministers like the pastors. They are not. Okay. So that's between them now, Holy of Holies and the workers. The workers cannot enter the Holy of Holies. So the priests use them just as the pastors do today. Okay, therefore, you and all your company are gathered together against the Lord. Remember, they gathered against Moses and Aaron, but Moses said they have gathered against the Lord. And what is Aaron that you complain against him? Okay, verse 12. And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, but they said, I like this. This is where I want to expose something that even all my years being a Christian, being a minister, I never knew this in the Bible. And there's no minister of God preaching it today. There's no single anointed man of God that is preaching what I'm about to show you. And it's here. I've read Bible many times. This thing never come my mind. You know why? Because the one they taught me have occupy my mind. So even when I read it, I don't see it. It blinds you. Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, Moses called them. They said, we will not come up. We refuse. We will not come up. We respectfully decline. We are not coming up. Is it a small thing? Hear what they say. Yeah. Because it is the people that stand against what is going on that will tell you actually what is going on. This is why we stood up against it. We know what we are talking. Hear what it says. Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of a land flowing with milk and honey? Think about it. From which land did God bring the people of Israel up? Out. Egypt. What did their God call the land of Egypt or their prophets? They call it the house of bondage. It's a lie. But this place, these people that stood up against Aaron and Moses, they exposed the truth. They were in the land flowing with milk and honey. You see why Moses had to perform all those things to convince them. But they tell you that Egypt was a land of bondage where people were enslaved. No. Everywhere black people were, or everywhere black people are, is a land flowing with milk and honey. Every black land is a land flowing with milk and honey. Egypt was not a land of bondage. It was not a house of bondage. It's a land flowing with milk and honey. That's where Abraham became rich. Did the Egyptians enslave Abraham? No. But you believe they enslaved the Israelites, the children of Abraham. It's a lie they told you. Just as many Africans still believe that our ancestors were killing and enslaving themselves before white people came. Yet they will not pause and ask why our ancestors didn't have prison yard, cells where they are locking people up before white people came. But they believe the history, especially they are educated. So they were educated in these white supremacy institutions where the white people wrote history and they thought that is the history of the world. The history you read in school is not the true history of the world. The true history are not written. The true history are lived. You live the true history. It's not written. Those that wrote their opinion, not the factual truth. For you to know about a people, you have to go and live with them. It's not what is written. And you may observe and begin to write. What you see does not say the main truth or the whole thing about what they're doing. You are only airing your own opinion. This is what I saw. But it's unfortunate that many Africans believe their lies. They taught us their lies and we took it. Because first they forced us. But today we know better. Egypt was never a house of bondage. Egypt never enslaved people. The ancient Egyptians never enslaved any people until white people came. They begin to take places of power in Egypt and begin to enslave the Egyptians, the indigenous people. That's how we became slaves today. When you're talking about Egypt, you're talking about Kemet, you're talking about black people, Africans. When you're talking about black people, you're talking about darkness. But they taught you that darkness is evil, light is good, is good for you. Darkness is the best. It's greater than good. I am darkness, the thick darkness. Where you can find light, where light come from. Light is not superior to darkness. Light cannot drive away darkness. Light is temporal, darkness is permanent. These people are telling you the truth. The representatives of the congregation, Moses came to Egypt and telling them about, they know how they were. He said Egypt was a land flowing with milk and honey. So you brought us out of that land. You brought us out of this land. Please, I am begging you, Africans. We knew no bondage before white men came. But if you arguing with it, check the days they gave to you. Just as they tell you that the creation, according to their book, is 6,000 years, while your ancestors have been here for millions of years. Egypt was not a house of bondage. It's a land flowing with milk and honey. Hear what they keep saying. See another thing they revealed. He said, to kill us in the wilderness. Of course, you know how many of them God killed them in the wilderness, according to their book. That they weren't killed in Egypt. They kill them in the wilderness. They say all of them that came out of Egypt, they will not enter the promised land. All of them died in the wilderness. It was not devil that killed them, God. The same God that brought them out of Egypt killed them. He told them, I'm taking you to promised land. He killed them. He did not take them to the promised land, including Moses. He said, climb the mountain. You will see it. You will not enter it. And that's what is happening to all of you that believe in this God. You believe there is heaven where he is. You see it in your vision. You see it in your dream. You see it in your revelation. But you will never enter it because it does not exist. You believe it, then he created that image in you. That you should keep, you should keep acting like a prince over us. Exactly what the ministers of God are doing today. Acting as king, acting as prince over our people. Driving the best cars, living in the best houses. While their congregation, the same people, all of them are worshiping the same God. They are suffering, crying, praying, even sowing seed to them, making them richer. Here again, he said, moreover, you have not brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor giving us inheritance of fields and vineyards as they promised. Will you put out the eyes of this man? We will not come up. We refuse to go with your lives anymore. He said, where is the promise? You keep acting as king or prince over us. And the promise we have not seen it. We have been in this wilderness, wandering around. You say you are taking us to promised land. Say on this mountain you will worship. You're taking it to promised land. It's supposed to be a few days journey. Now it's taking months. What are we doing here? Promise not given as said, as promised. They promise you will receive this. You will do. It's not happening. And you don't want to act like this wise man that stood up and said, no way. And say the truth. So here what happened. Then Moses was very angry. When Moses was very angry, it means God was very angry. Then Moses was very angry and said to the Lord, said to his colleague, Moses said to his co-angry, his colleague in anger, he said, do not respect their offering. Do not respect their offering. This is the man they said was more meek than every other person in the face of the earth. Just people said the truth. People revealed the truth that Egypt was a land flowing with milk and honey, not a house of bondage. And they said you are exercising power over us as prince, and also the promise you gave to us that made us leave Egypt, we have not gotten it. Then instead of him to say, okay, let me tell you, so let God come and explain things to you. No, Moses became very angry. They refused to go. Say, come. They said, we're not coming. That's the type of people we need in churches, in mosques, in temples. People will say, no, enough. We are not giving. No, we are not giving. God needs to be given to us, not us giving to God. Do not respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I hurt one of them. That's not what they accuse you of. They did not say you take anything from them. They did not say you're hurting them. They said, listen, you brought us out of land flowing with milk and honey. Now the promise you haven't gotten it, and you are living as prince among us. We don't like it. And Moses said to Korah, tomorrow, you and all your company be present before the Lord. You and they, as well as Aaron, let each take his censer and put incense in it. And each of you bring his censer before the Lord, 250 censers. Both you and Aaron eat with his censer. So every man took his censer, put censer, put his fire in it, laid incense on it, and stood at the door of the tabernacle of the meeting with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then the glory of the Lord appeared to all the congregation. When I'm reading this, you're supposed to have the image of what? Elijah and the prophets of Baal on the Mount of Carmel in the 1 Kings chapter 18. The same thing. They are repeating the same thing, but changing it. That's how they wrote all this nonsense. They stole one thing and begin to paint it, dress it, change names, change people. But it's the same thing, the same narratives. That's what is going on. Lies, deception, that's all, for control. Get angry. Say today, prepare, come with your censers. You put fire on it tomorrow morning, as I said, before the Lord. Let us see. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, you think God will be the bigger man now to say, oh, children, shut up. Oh, children, stop, enough. Let me settle this matter, okay? It's okay, it's okay. Okay, you have little misunderstanding. Don't worry about that. Hey, Abiram and your company, you see what happened, blah, 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 blah. God did not do that. You think God will come and settle the matter for them as brethren, people, all of them worshiping him. The Lord said, saying, separate yourself from among this congregation that I may consume them in a moment. Consuming fire. See, God, you say, is a merciful God. He came where the congregation are having issue with their leaders. Instead of him to settle them as one that is greater than them, as one that know better. Say, separate yourself from them. I will consume them in a moment. This is why you fear God. I don't fear such God. Can your God consume me right now in a moment? Cannot. I am above your God. I am greater than your God. This God. He cannot consume anything in reality. It's only in the book it happened. Then they fell on their faces. Imagine, this is God Almighty. He said, we consume them in a moment. Just separate yourselves. Separate yourselves. Let me consume these ones. Then they fell on their faces and said, "Oh God, the God of the spirits of all flesh." I am the Lord, the spirit of all flesh. Is there anything for me to do? Anything hard for me to do? Stupid God. He says, "Shall one man sin and you be angry with all the congregation?" This thing also show you that when the church tell you about the original sin, they're lying. One man sin affecting all the congregation is a lie. One man sin affecting all humanity is a lie. It can never be possible. You die for your own sin. Why are you suffering and dying for Adam's sin? And they tell you to confess and repent. You confess and repent. Even some of you confessing for the sins of your fathers, sins of your ancestors, the sins they never committed, but you are convinced they did. You manufacture sins for them. See people, they say God will show up. Now God will show up saying we consume. He say, okay, God, please, why will you consume all these people? Because of one man's sin. He said one man, but let's keep reading. So the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the congregation, saying, get away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Think about it. God Almighty need human guidance. Human being directing God on how to judge, on what to do. God, how are you going to kill all these people because of one man's sin? He's supposed to know better. When God show up, he don't need anyone to direct him. But God never show up in reality. Remember this, even in their story, it is stupid. It is ridiculous if you can read it well, as I'm reading it. So now God changed his mind, but they tell you he does not change. God don't change his mind. He does, according to their story. He wanted to consume all the congregation in a moment, except Moses and Aaron. Then Moses and Aaron fell and begged him. So, not even beg him, they say, come on, God, how can you be angry with all the congregation for one man's sin? Huh? Oh God, shall you be angry with, with all these people because of one man's sin? He changed his mind. The glory of angry God appeared. Then Canaan men directed God. Just the same way you are directing God with your prayers. And you say this God is almighty. He can do all things. When I talk, you say, who are you? Are you above God? You are above God. That's why you are the one directing God. Anyone you can direct, you are above that person. You know better than that person. That's why you can direct them. If you don't know more better than them, you can't direct them because you know better. Said, tell them to get away. Then Moses rose and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spoke to the congregation, saying, depart now from the tents of these wicked men. Touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins. You are telling me that God cannot forgive and fix wicked men, his own worshippers, his own people, his own children. And you tell me with God there is forgiveness. You telling me to forgive when God cannot forgive. You are God, but you tell me you're forgiving. Any believer, any Christian that tell you they are forgiving you, they are lying. They are saying that out of fear of God, because they tell them if they don't forgive, their God will not forgive them. But they want bad things to happen to you to prove their God is right and you are wrong. Oh, God will have mercy on you. What they mean that God will consume you with fire. When they say God bless you, they mean God curse you. I knew them. I was once in their shoes. They profess love is evil. They think love is caring. Love is not caring. Love is evil. God failed to forgive and fix wicked men. Hear what happened. He said, okay, hear what he said. He said, so they got away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan and Abiram. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the door of their tents. Here, people standing with them that God is about to kill them. Here, with their wives, their sons, and their little children. No matter how hungry you are, they tell you little children, you be like, okay, let me spare the little children, I'll kill this one. But God that's supposed to know better didn't do that. These men stood with their wives, their sons, and their little children. God tell other people to separate themselves from them. God did not say, okay, separate their children, bring their little children, bring their wives out, bring their sons out. No. The sin of one man now is about to destroy the whole family. This is why you are living in fear of God, you religious people. Fuck that God. I'm above that God. That's why I can say that. And Moses said, by this you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works. By God killing people, that's what we show that God has chosen to do all these works that saying you are doing in your own name. God's supposed to know better and do better. God's supposed to tell the people like that. He's supposed to tell the people himself that, not you. And that's where the problem started. They need to see God. They need to hear from God. Not every time they gather, hear him from you. Every time they gather, hear him from you. It is only robots, morons that we keep gathering without questioning. Normal human beings, we say, come on, this is too much. And that's exactly what this man showed. Instead of God showing up to show the message, he killed them. Let's read on. He said, for I have not done them of my own will. If these men die naturally, like all men, or if they are visited by the common fate of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. Did Moses die natural death? According to Bible, where was Moses buried? But they tell you he went to heaven. Nobody saw the corpse of Moses. Moses did not die natural death. So the same thing he wished to these people happened to him. He said they will not die natural death. He himself did not die natural death. Whatever you wishing me will happen to you. I'm talking to you, theists. I'm talking to you, believers. I'm talking to you, Christians. I'm talking to you, Muslims. I'm talking to you, Jews. I'm talking to you, worshippers of God or believers in God. Whatever you wish me will happen to you. It will not happen to me. It is called fairness. I don't practice forgiveness. So if this man are visited by the common fate of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. Nonsense. It's like Elijah that said, if I'm a man of God, let fire come down and consume you. And fire from God come and consume people. And you're worshiping that God, God of Elijah, send that fire, and he never sent any fire. Yet you believe him. Indeed, it's in the book, not in reality. He said, but if the Lord creates a new thing, when we are God, create a new thing. How I wish you are God can create a new thing. It is people creating things, then they slap God on it. He said, if God creates a new thing and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive into the pit, not pit of hell. Remember, this time there was no hellfire yet. No fire, no hellfire in the Bible yet. No hellfire. It's only heaven and earth. He said, then you will understand that these men have rejected the Lord. So, because they rejected the Lord, you said that the earth will open up its mouth and swallow them with everything that belongs to them. They will go down to the pit, grave, alive. That's great. It's not a bad thing. All die be die. It doesn't matter how you die. All die be die. All of us are going there. So don't threaten me with that bullshit. Stop threatening the woke nation. Stop threatening the awakened people, the free thinkers, people that are questioning your faith and beliefs with all that bullshit. Sorry, terrible death is the same thing. Whether you die in accident or sleeping a nice sleep, no matter how you die, all die, be die. When we are smoking and weed that time, all die, be die, he die, all die, be die. Say because they rejected the Lord, they will not die natural death. The Lord will do a new thing. It's the Lord that failed to take them from Egypt directly to the promised land, but now he can open the earth and swallow them alive. Think, my people. That one now it came to pass as he finished speaking all these words that the ground split apart under them, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their household and all the men with Korah, with all their goods. So they and all those with them went down alive into the pit. The earth closed over them, and they perished from among the assembly. Then all Israel who were around them fled at their cry, for they said, lest the earth swallows up or swallows us up also. You heard about people burying people alive, right? That's what God did here. It is one of the evil that godly people introduced to the world. White people burying people alive. We weren't doing that. But they taught us that during slavery. Our people learned that, oh, you can bury somebody alive. So in some villages, when if there is any like a criminal, somebody that is criminal tormenting the whole village, nobody dare come to him. So what they always plan is to bury that person alive. How do they do that? They dig a hole and cover it, and seduce him, try talking to go, okay, let's go to so place. He will be going with them. Then they will push him inside that pit and cover it up. That's it. White people taught them that because they were burying our ancestors alive also. Their Bible proves that to you. Many Africans, they dig graves and bury them alive to put fear on others. Do you see the fear on the people that remain? He said they fled at their cry. God don't care about the cry of these people. God don't care. These people were crying. It touched human being, but not God. Human being would have done something to save them, but not God. He said they cry, say, lest the earth swallow us up also. That fear registered in them. The same thing that happens when you read about the horrible things this God has done. As a believer, it creates that trauma in you, that fear. You don't want something to happen to you. Oh, God drown people. I don't want God to drown me. God turn human being into beasts. I don't want God to turn me into beasts. God to kill people. I don't want God to kill me. So let me worship God. The only way God will be angry with me if I say there is no God. The only way God will be angry with me if I don't worship God, if I don't pray, if I don't acknowledge God, if I don't give to the poor. Fuck that God and live your life. This is why you are living a faithful life. This is why you are living in fear of God, because of the bad thing, evil things that God does. But I'm telling you, it's only in the book, not in reality. God can only people that are doing such thing or similar thing in reality are godly people. Because when you believe in that God, you have that mind of God to kill, mind of God to steal, mind of God to destroy. Mind of God kills, steals, and destroys. Mind of God builds nothing. Mind of God takes from others. Mind of God make kings, and kings are killers. Killers are kings. You cannot be a king without being a killer. For you to be a king, you must be a killer. Do you get that? I say that when I speak on breaking the chains. Kings are killers. Who are the world powers today? Killers. Not people that are quiet, people that are worshiping God. No, killers. Russia, America, China, Europe, UK. Those world powers, killers. They are out for war, not for peace. Although they preach peace. They know with peace you will never be prosperous. It's with war because they already introduced that wickedness. That's how it goes. And black people must learn war. Black people must learn to war. Black people must learn how to be wicked, how to be evil. It's not in us. We must learn it so that we can recover our heritage, then trash it and teach the world how to live humanly again. That is what we are doing, calling you to wake up so that we can do it together. That is 6. Of that 5. Here, what is it? And a 5 people were running away. They say they don't want, they don't want the earth swallow them up as it swallowed this man. Here, what happened? Instead of God, it's okay, let me spare them. And a fire came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who were offering incense. You join them. You want to escape the earth, swallowing them like them. Okay, I will send fire. Since you are faster than my earth miracle, I will send my fire miracle. Or earth judgment, I will send my fire judgment. Can you think, people? Why is it killing people that we prove that God called a man or choose a man? Why is it punishing people or making people become sick or ill that we prove that God called a man? Why is that? I say the same thing to our people who believe in all these worshiping spirits, or we call it arose. I say, what will happen if somebody refuses to feed that arose? They say we start killing people, people will start dying. I said, that's nonsense. We don't need such thing. And that's what we must wake up to do. Killings from our land. Anything that will kill you because you don't serve it or you don't worship it must go. We must destroy it. We have power over that. Our people establish it. We also have power to destroy it. But you don't just go and destroy it like that. No. You'll find out how you appease them. Then you go appease them. Then you say, you know what? Now I've appeased you. Enough. We end it. That's how to end it. Not violently. You see, like Christians go and begin to destroy shrines in our villages. It's affecting their families. They are dying. They are suffering. Mhm. Because it's the mind of the people that establish it. It's not any God. We have such power. We have power to build and power to destroy. We have it. So whatever we build, if it's no longer serving us, we can destroy it. If it's no longer serving us the purpose for which we created it, if it's taking lives, we can destroy it too. A fire came out from the Lord and consumed 250 men who were offering incense before God. Challenges in God's presence. That angry God, that maniac God, that evil God, that crazy God, that mad God, that silly God, that wicked God. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, tell Eleazar, the sons of Aaron the priest, to pick up the censers out of the blaze. Hear this, for they are holy, and scatter the fire for some distance away. The censers of these men who sinned against their own souls, let them be made into hammered place as a covering for the altar, because they presented them before the Lord. Therefore they are holy, and they shall be a sign to the children of Israel. So Eleazar the priest took the bronze censers, which those who were burnt up had presented, and they were hammered out as a covering on the altar, to be a memorial to the children of Israel, that no outsider, if you are not a priest, if you are not a son of Aaron, no outsider who is not a descendant of Aaron should come near to offer incense before the Lord, that he might not become like Korah and his companions, just as the Lord has said to him through Moses. Do you just hear what I read? God consumed 250 men, but did not consume their censers, saying that those censers are holy because they use it to offer before the Lord, but their life was not holy. They said they sin against their own souls. That's, you see, believers telling you you're a lost soul. You're a lost soul. So now censer, ordinary metal, is holier than men. God born men alive, and he spared the censers and used it, he said, beat it into plate to serve as covering on the altar in the presence of God. Your life does not matter to that God. God will care about the censers more than your life. God will care about money more than your life. First, he opened the earth and swallowed up Korah. Huh? Remember, swallow up now. Remember Jonah, how fish swallowed Jonah. It's the same story they keep showing you. Their God can do this, their God can do that. In the book, he showed no mercy to the little children. God showed no mercy to the little children. To the little children of this man, he opened the earth and swallowed them. God did not show mercy to them. Then fire came, men that were escaping, men that joined that man. They say, okay, let us, because of their cry, please, I don't want the air to swallow me. God sent fire. No one asked him, oh, Father, send fire. Oh, God, send fire. Moses did not say, oh, God, send fire. God sent fire and consumed 250 men that were offering incense before him. He said, because they are outsiders, although they are his children. Although he saved them out from Egypt, but now he chose Aaron and his sons as the only one that we offer incense in his presence, not the Levites, other Levites. Although all of them are from the same tribe, Abi. Hierarchies. Some people are greater than you, but all of you are children of God. All of you are people of God. And some people are more favored. Some people are choosing. Not all of you. And they tell you there's no partiality with that God. Stupid people. These things are showing that God has the characteristics of man. It is men that made God. The behaviors of God is behaviors of man. There is no God that can do anything. It is men doing all these things, people doing all these things and slapping God on it, tagging God on it. Not God doing anything in reality. Imagine censer holier than your life. God values censer than life of man. And yet you tell me you are against abortion because he is killing people. You are against abortion. And you are worshiping this God that you sent fire and consumed 250 men. That opened the earth and swallowed up men with their wives, their sons, and their little children. God showed no pity to them. Okay, the men did that. Their wives were innocent. Their sons were innocent. Their children were innocent. But God consumed it. God was happy consuming them. Confirming Job chapter 9, verse 23. When the innocent died, suddenly God sit and laugh at their plight, at their troubles. God laughed. They were praying to me, thinking I will hear. Stupid people. God is laughing at your suffering. God is not doing anything to lift your burden. That's why you are laboring. To carry that burden, God cannot help you. Trash God and live humanly. Wake up. Wake up, my people. Wake up. So what happened? The next complaint. You see, all these things that happen because of the first complaint, right? People complain, you see what is going on. You take us from from land flowing with milk and honey, and you promise us there's another land flowing with milk and honey. We have not getting there. You are ruling over us as prince, and you know we don't want it. God did the two things to deal with them: open the earth, swallow them, and send the fire. Then what happened? It can't keep people quiet. No matter what your God can do, it will not stop people from exposing the lies. No matter what you say your God can do, your God will do this. It cannot intimidate us. It cannot. We will keep exposing the lies of God, the lies of religion. We will keep exposing them. They can block us all they want. They can kill us all they want. We keep coming, telling them. 41. On the next day, all the congregation of the children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron, saying, "You have killed the people of the Lord." You think you will stop them? You think your God doing anything will stop people from exposing religion? You think your God doing anything, or because somebody die or get arrested, then people will shut up? No. You are living in the wrong time. This is the time of revolution. This is time of liberation. This is time of waking up. And great awakening is happening. None of your wishes, none of your threats will work. It can never happen. We know better now. We are not living by faith. We are not living in fear. They said to Moses, "You have killed the people of the Lord." Now it happened when the congregation had gathered against Moses and Aaron that they turned toward the tabernacle of meeting, and suddenly the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. Then Moses and Aaron came before the tabernacle of meeting. For those of you that the seers will tell you, "I saw that cloud over your family. That's why you are not prospering." That cloud is not evil. That's where God is. Darkness. So when they say that, they take away the glory that is on your family. And that's when they establish real poverty. And after that prayer, you see how you are suffering. You keep working harder, and you're not prospering anything. You have to sell land or borrow money or do something to raise money. God is not blessing you anything. Hear what he said, verse 4. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Get away from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment." Again, second time, God is saying he will consume people. Instead of him fixing people, instead of him forgiving people, he said, "I will consume them. I am a consuming fire." And they fell to their faces, on their faces. So Moses and Aaron take a censer and put fire in it from the altar, put incense on it, and take it quickly to the congregation and make an atonement for them. The wrath has gone out from the Lord. It's late. The wrath of God has gone out already, killing people. The plague has begun. Plague is not from devil. Plague is from God. Plague is not from Satan. Plague is from God. Plague is not from men. Plague is from God. So whether you call it virus, it's from God. He said nothing will happen without him allowing it, without his notice. So he knew. He inspired people to create virus. He inspired people to create sicknesses, just as he created mosquito to be giving you malaria. Then Aaron took it as Moses commanded and ran into the midst of the assembly, and already the plague had begun among the people. So he put in the incense and made atonement for the people, and he stood between the dead and the living. In the congregation of God, you have the dead and the living. Who made them dead? God. The plague from God, not from Satan, not from demons. The plague from God made them dead. In the congregation of God, they are dead people and living people. Dead people are the real one that is giving the money, but they're not born again. Then the living people are born again. Yeah. They always split. Aaron stood between the dead and the living, so the plague was stopped. God did not stop the plague. Aaron did, with the sense of made atonement for the people to stop. Stupid God that don't even know when to stop. He keep killing. Now, those who died in the plague were 14,700 men, beside those who died in the Korah incident. Think about it, my people. God just wiped out 14,700 people. World war. People are killing people. We believe in God. We are against abortion. We are against murder. We are against, but you are worshiping the God that murdered 14,700 people just because they complain. They see their brethren died. They say, "Oh, you men of God, you killed them." Then instead of God to fix them, forgive them, or help them understand, he killed them. 14,700. No Satan was mentioned in this chapter. No demon was mentioned. It's all God. In the presence of angry God, you see challenges. We will know who God are called today. We will know who God anointed today. If I'm a man of God, ladies, if God did not call me, you will say, if God called me, this will happen. Nonsense. So Aaron returned to Moses at the door of the tabernacle of meeting, for the plague have stopped. The plague will not stop. We are the one that will rise up to stop it. The plague of slavery, the plague of white supremacy, the plague of white privilege, the plague of our slavery. We are the one that will stop it. And that's why we are calling you to wake up today, so that we end it, so that we can be free again. Trust religion and live humanly. Trust God and live humanly. Trust Jesus and live humanly. You can do it. I can do it. Let's do it. God